as no one can silence the truth. In 1999, truth eventually prevailed with the emergence of a true democratic structure in 1999. Today, on this program, we are going to analyze Nigeria's democracy since 1999. We have some personalities who will illustrate the annulment incident, its impact on Nigeria's fragile democracy. How far? How fair? Has Nigeria been able to achieve our goals in the area of good governance, unity, security, economy, infrastructure, and many others? On this program today, I have with me personalities who will illustrate the whole thing. Barrister Boye Williams, a human rights fighter and friend of the media, is in the studio. Barrister Boye Williams, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
I also have in the studio with me Bunmi Oladele Esquire. Bunmi Oladele Esquire is a retired director in the State Ministry of Information, Osun State. Bunmi, you are welcome.
Good morning, Moderator. Good morning, Nigerians, both in Nigeria and abroad. Happy Democracy Day.
God bless you. I also have a gentleman in the studio, Professor Babaniyi Babatope. Professor Babaniyi Babatope is also with us here. Prof, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
And the last but not the least, a retired Director General of the Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, OSBC, Wale Idowu Esquire. My DG, you are welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator and listeners out there. Beautiful day.
On behalf of the Chief Executive and Chairman of TeamSet Conglomerates, Ijebu-Jesha, Asiwaju Rotimi Obeisun, I welcome you all.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the station manager, Engineer Segun Obeisun, and my producer, Adekunle Adeyema Eletiku, Ifeoluwa Olaoye on the console, I welcome you all onto this program. My name is Oyebode Oyeleye, the moderator.
Mo fẹ́ ní ẹrẹ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ owó mo ní ẹ lò owó àpèkánu kò yẹ ní ẹ lọ́mọdé ní ẹ lọ́rùn kiri ẹ mú ṣe rere bíi ti Abíọ́lá bàbá wa ní Káṣí Abíọ́lá aṣọ Abíọ́lá ìgbòho rọjò láyé bí Káṣí Abíọ́lá bàbá ló jẹ́ aṣọ Abíọ́lá bódébódé ń gbé Káṣí Abíọ́lá.
Yes, we now go straight into the program. Let me first go to Professor Babatope. People always describe Nigeria democracy as fragile. What's your view about this?
Thank you very much, Moderator. Nigeria's democracy is very fragile because the makeup of the country itself is not real. It is fragile. And if the foundation of a nation, or even a structure, is not properly laid, whatever one is doing is not going to hold. And so everything we have been doing since independence, so to say, even before independence, it has been founded on a very fragile structure. And so everything we've been doing since then, which is based on this, has been unreal. So to me, that's where I say it has been very, very unreal. And so we need to understand that first. The foundation is not really what it should be. Because we all understand what happened in the time of fighting for independence with our leaders at that time, Ahmadu Bello, Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, crafting the constitution, and they did a very good job. But post-independence, it has been very problematic.
Thank you very much. Mr. Awale Idowu, annulment of June 12 election, 1993. Some people describe it as illegal and criminal. What's your perception of this?
Yes, indeed, the annulment was criminal. It was to the detriment of the development of the nation as well as the people. And it's one annulment that failed to acknowledge the centrality of human forces in the electoral process. At the end of it all, the effect, the consequence is still very much with all today. One is hoping that somehow we wake up so that the consequence will not be with us tomorrow. But for now, we are still reeling in the pains and pangs of that annulment.
Yes. The presidential election was annulled on June 12, 1993. No, not on June 12. The election was held on June 12, 1993. Consequently, the election was annulled after some time. In fact, the result was never announced by the then military president. Mr. Bumi Oladele, you are not a politician. I know you are a civil servant to the core. This annulment has brought in so many incidents within the Nigerian political climate. What have we gained? What I'm trying to say is that today is Democracy Day. Have we ever achieved anything? Despite all the sovereigns, many people laid their life to entrench democracy. But have we got any lesson? Have we been taught any lesson? And do we follow anything at all to make our democracy stable?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. To me, I have a personal touch to it. Before I will go into a little bit down memory lane. In June 12, 1993, I was a presiding officer, precisely in Lesha here at Kajola Junction. Anytime I reflected on what happened that day and what is happening today, I weep for Nigeria. That was the day we missed it. Precisely on June 23rd, 1993 was the day it was annulled. It was, I think, 11 or something days after that, after waiting for this thing. What I'm saying is that the cause of what happened that day, the cause, C-U-R-S-E, is still with us till today. I have likened it in my mind before I came here to what happened, the cause of Alaafin Aole of the Alaafin of the 16th century, that he placed on Generalissimo Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Àfọ̀njá at his betrayal, which led to his death. And he said that whatever happens, the Yoruba race will never find peace. Because he sent Àfọ̀njá on a war. He came back to betray him. What happened then in 1993 is the cause that is still afflicting Nigeria up to today. Are we in a democracy? People have always said that I've been very critical of this, our democracy. I've been very critical. Because when I look at it, at my age, I was 20 in 1993 when I did that. So I was 33 years old. This year I'm 60 now. Have we fared better? In the public service, which we said 33 years ago, is it the same thing now? No. Politically, is it the same thing now? In 1993, Nigerians went to the poll to satisfy their conscience, not minding where the two contestants came from. MK Abiola, I realized, defeated Tofa at his backyard in Kano. Today, can it be like that again? It can never be like that, which means it is cash and carry basis. Every day, like Yoruba will say, Okanju and Dagba, Ogban Rewaju. The leaders we have today, they don't have the fear of God. I don't want to go beyond that. Our problem in this country today is bane of leadership. Because when we see what is right and we call it wrong, democracy is supposed to be the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Is that what we have today? Even starting from the primary, is it the people that people wanted that they get there eventually? So what I will go back to it that no, the course of June 12, 1993, 27 years ago, is living with us until today.
Thank you very much. Mr. Waledu, I want to go back to the person of Chief MKO Abiola. I mean his personality. The person of MKO, what is your view?
Yeah, Moshood Kashimawo Abiola came out as someone destined for history, and he lived for history. Following from his experience, following from his background, following from the blessings, the divine blessings that he amassed, he became a real philanthropist. I would want to describe him as a war general, given what also became of him eventually. Oh yes, extremely humorous. And his war man, we can describe as war smith. And what would really come to mind was the tales of the baby with the bath water. I also want to look at MKO as an advocate of justice. Maybe we still recall his involvement with reparation, his involvement with the Black Caucus in the U.S. Congress. And all in all, as a philanthropist, I would say a great Nigerians had that direct benefit. Some others had secondary benefit. And one of those who benefited secondarily happened to be Mr. Kunle Adeyemo, if you will recall, but I have the history. So on and so on like that. Time will not allow us to really go into the person of MKO. But for purpose of history, we'll continue to see him in the light of a real Nigeria. And that's why what became of him became history and will continue to reverberate as part of Nigeria history. Thank you.
MKO is dead, but he is still living. Let us hear him.
It's not my business what religious color anybody wears. In ITT, in Concord, in RCN, in Summit Oil, in the bakeries, in the bookshop, in the presses, and so we employ people purely on merit. Round pegs in round holes, period. There are so many people who work for me whose hometown I don't even know. I don't even know them anyway. I don't have to know them. Because we want to be objective. If I could do that in my own small business, I think Nigeria has every reason to expect from me a clear vision when it comes to the management of the affairs of the country as a whole. Quite obviously, we need to earn more foreign exchange. We shall therefore put in place policies that will broaden the foreign exchange earning capacity of the nation. We will pursue exports and local sourcing for industry. We shall aggressively pursue the implementation of the LNG project if the logjam on the gas project has not already been broken by this administration, by this current one. We shall maximize the nation's return from oil by turning over future investment to the private sector and by removing the complex structures which makes NMPC's accountability and assessment of efficiency almost impossible. You see, there are so many layers upon layers built on this simple thing, crude oil. I don't even know where it's oil.
Yes, you have heard the words of the brilliant MKO Abiola. If Abiola had been president, what would Nigeria have become? Boye Williams.
It is a pity that some people disgruntled, I don't want to use the word element for them, tried what they could to frustrate this brilliant man. We have just had him. I'm still saying it. Abiola is truly Nigerian symbols of democracy. Till tomorrow. Look at the way Abiola analyzed the problems and solution to the Nigerians' predicaments then. Do you know the funniest thing? All what Abiola said then are still with us as problems till today. So I knew very well. Recently I heard Babangida saying that if he had not annulled the election, some people would kill him. But thank God that Babangida is still alive to listen to all what people are now saying. We have missed Abiola. We will continue to miss him. But what can we learn from him? You ask my brother Wale do one particular question. Even the annulment itself, was it not illegal or unlawful? Did we even take any step? Obasanjo came in, set up a panel. At the end of the day, nothing was done. Instead of that particular regime to now bring them to book, in fact, we would have moved, because June 12 election happens to be the most freest and fairest election ever conducted in the history of Nigeria. But somebody frustrated us and returned us back to the dark age. We are still in the dark age. The election that we had last in Nigeria was nothing to write home about. I don't care whatever anybody can do. I am a lawyer that can defend myself, even if it comes to imprisonment or whatever. I'm saying this on here. We all fought. Our forefathers there, they struggled to get independence. We got independent from one crisis to another. Up to this moment, we are not moving forward. The only achievement we have recorded is democracy. We have been able to maintain this democracy for the past 21 years. But what happened June 12 election? Up to this moment, only the present government, they have done that. They have achieved that in changing May 29 Democracy Day to June 12. I give kudos to the president for that. But we still have to do more. What is democracy? This man said NNPC needs overhauling. Up to this moment, the NNPC, that particular corporation, is still having problem. Abiola says that we have to generate income whereby we get foreign currency, foreign money for the purpose of sustaining our internal generated revenue for the betterment of the people. He's still with us again. Then what about recruiting qualified personnel that can handle the economy and the political system structure? I think he said that if he could do that in all his conglomeration, he can still do it for Nigeria. But he was not given any chance. It is quite a pity.
Thank you very much. Even after the annulment of election 27 years ago, some concerned Nigerians came together to form a coalition. That is why history will not forget people like Dr. Beck Oranson Kuti, late Gane Fawemi, late Pa Rewane, late Pa Enahoro, Baba Ajasin, Pa Adesanya, some of them still living, Baba Adebanjo, Professor Wole Soyinka, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Mr. Femi Falana, civil societies in Nigeria, and student activists, in order to actualize the annulled election. But it was not so. But up to today, 27 years after, as Barrister Boye Williams has said, we still remain the same people, the same structure. People even say it's getting worse. Professor, is it as a result of what I can say or what I can describe as a faulty federalism? If there is true federalism, do you think things will have been better?
Well, that is part of the problem. But the major problem, really, if we have to be sincere with ourselves, is failure of leadership. Insincerity, selfishness, callousness on the part of even ordinary Nigerians. Not to even talk of those at the leadership level. Now, MKO himself, as we have listened to him a few minutes ago, that if we are fair, even at the lowest level of recruitment, putting the right people in the right place, people with the ideas, people with the skills, people with the expertise to lead this country out of its problems at various segments, then this country will not be where we are today. But what rules this country today is selfishness and putting wrong people in the right place. I'll give you a personal experience. When I was the former Minister of Science and Tech under Obasanjo, Professor Ison, Turner Ison. To me, I always say it everywhere I have the opportunity. It remains the best Minister of Science and Tech this country had ever had. He always told everybody that science and technology doesn't know where you come from. It doesn't have any color. It doesn't have any ethnic group. But once you are good, put it up. And that was why I had the opportunity of becoming a director and chief executive of a major federal government parastatal. Because people know how straight and honest I am. So for 4 years, I did things differently from how things were done before. And at the end of the day, I was skimmed out of the open because I won't do things the way they were doing it. After I left there 5 years after, they started doing things the way they were doing it. And for 10 years now, things have remained standstill since the time I left there. Everybody knows that the record is there in Akure for everybody to say. So, as long as we continue to scheme things and allow things to skew to one ethnic group over another, this country cannot move forward. That is not the way great countries of this world rise and develop. Unfortunately, I wasn't here to experience June 12, but we were following everything that was happening in Nigeria in 1993 before I came in 1994. I've been away since 86. And it was the new development that happened one after the other. When Abiola died, Abacha died, they said, oh, well, my running away in 1994, I have to come back again to fight together. This country belongs to us. I have the opportunity of staying in the US. Even now, I shouldn't be here. But those who know me, they know that I'm here so that this country, I will be able to make my own little contribution to move this country forward. So, failure of leadership at every level, even in the universities, in the ministries, just local government, federal government, failure of leadership. Everybody is greedy. It's a rat race, so to say. And this country cannot achieve much if we continue to run our fatherland this way. And it is only the good ones, those who advocate for things to be done the right way, they are the enemy of society. And that should not be. And we have to pray that if this continues like this, we I'm afraid if what we don't expect, we'll expect, but nobody prays for that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That was Professor Babaneyi Babatokpe of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Yeah. Esquire.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask if the Nigeria's federating units have been allowed, each of them, to exercise some greater autonomy, do you think there could be progress or development in Nigeria's polity?
Before I answer, I want to say something.
Okay, say it.
I'm not a lawyer like Barrister Boy Williams, so there's nobody who will defend me. But I think I will have to take a risk. I want to take us back to the speech of, because it dovetails into the same something.
Okay.
Into the speech of
MK
Abiola I was listening to 27 years ago, like Boy Williams said. The problem that man identified are still those bordering us in this country today. I want to say without being controverted, after Obafemi Awolowo, I have not seen any colorful or more brilliant or more prepared person for the position of presidency in this country than MK Abiola. All the presidents that we have been having since 1999, it is they are accidental. Either to beg them to come in or to force them on us, or people that are not prepared. That is why we are here. Now, concerning the federating units, I was not born in the regional days, but I read history, and as a practicing journalist, I speak it every day until today. Nigeria was designed to fail from inception.
How?
Yes, when the British were going, they have designed that they will give it to the lesser people with lesser intelligence to run this country. I'm sorry, I don't want to insult anybody's sensibility. That's why I said I want to take a risk. Everywhere in the whole world, sir, especially even in the Western Sub-Sahara, you have more population in the region where you have vegetation, not in the Sahara. Only in Nigeria, that you have more people in the north than in the south, where you have vegetation all year round. I drove from Ilesha to Ijebu-Ijesha today. I saw the scenery, and if you are driving from here to Ekiti, you will see. You will see. But I have lived in the north for so many years. I did my national service there in 1983, and I stayed with my uncle there until 1992 when I came back to Osun, to the south to join the public service. I know what is there. How can you tell us that we are the arid zone is more populated than Nigeria was built on falsehood? Let me expatiate on that. It has been designed, like I said. Today we have south and north. The north has 19 states. The south has 17 states. Because they have designed it that way, all the other zone has 666. They gave only five to the southeast. They have shortchanged us with one in that aspect. We adding one to the north. They gave the northwest 7 as against 6 for everybody. So that year, but not today, you will never have. I was going through Awolowo's speech recently. The Republic, how they evolved. From 1954, I've realized that it has always been there. Even when we were under the Oyibos. Then I think the northern state, they had 7 million people. I mean, the southern people had 7 million people. The north had 9. So they have always skewed. They have always skewed that developmental project in favor of the arid north. So if you don't retry to what the professor said about true federalism, by today, if the Oduduwa Republic is declared legal, I want to tell you, they will still be running after us. Despite all the problem we have with our leaders. But with some of us who are committed, will be on their neck. I'm sorry to tell you this, most of the people that are ruling us now, majority of them, they are in the gerontocratic age. They have already received their boarding pass. They will soon go. I'm telling you this, unless they go, this country will not develop. That is my own.
Let me go to Barrister Boye Williams.
Okay.
Let me go back to Barrister Boye Williams. Government has just said that it appears Nigeria was founded on false foundation politically. What is your view on this?
Except our political history is highly defective, we have to agree with him. Sadana of Sokoto said, God did not create Nigeria, the British did. So that's the truth. So we don't need to even bother ourselves. You see, there are two issues identified by MK Abiola when he granted an interview to the Concord newspaper, the newspaper he founded. He said the two problems we are facing in Nigeria are the problem of nationality and the problem of governance. They now ask him, what do you mean by nationality? He said, Nigeria, we are being marked together, different nations coming together, but the English, the British, they assisted the Northerners more than the Southerners. They knew that we would dominate the political arena. So in order not to have dominance over those in the northern part, the British now started what has now become our problem today. Look at the Nigerian population census result. Look at the 1973 result. You will laugh. They only had, in fact, in 1991, I think the last one was said in 1991. Look at the result of 1991. They added something like 200 plus to Ilesha's population from 1973 to 1991. So the problem we have, the problem MK Abiola identified, nationality is there. The problem of this nation, the nationhood. Governance is another problem, where all these leaders are just every time those that have been ruling us since 1960
are still there.
They are still there.
Recycling them.
And are they leaders that are vision? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. So some are saying that I was part of those that supported change. I said, yes, I said something about change. But when Buhari was won the primary election of the APC, I said, Buhari is an old man. It will be difficult for him to tackle the present predicament we are facing. We need people like El-Rufai, young, vibrant people. Those that are still not far to 80, 90. The little can you do the moment you clock 80 years. I'm telling you, you will be sleeping when they are discussing.
Yes, thank you very much.
So those are the two problems, nationality and governance.
Let us now come back to Buhari's administration. You see, the present administration, led by Buhari, has been built on 3 pillars: to secure, to revamp, and to fight corruption. Let me go to Mr. Wale Edo. How do you assess these 3 pillars?
Moderator, before we go into the pillars, you will allow me to speak to the speech rendered by MKO and the power of the content of that speech. The economists out there will agree to the fact that this man spoke about leadership process, which is lacking in our system. And I also remember when he was engaging Bashir Tofa on television, the moderator asked, the price of petrol today, I think about 40 kobo then, will you be able to reduce the price? And he said, you don't reduce price by fiat. You look at the processing process. You talk about marginal cost of production before you talk about fixing price. That is the man MKO for you, to show you that it's well entrenched, it's well prepared. And not only that, compared to what obtains today, you have leaders who cannot interface with computer. That alone is the beginning of failure.
Analog leaders.
Indeed. MKO, there's also what we call expectation for leadership, which you find lacking today. by the time the process was getting clear, the coast was getting clearer that this man was going to win election. If you pass Oshodi in the morning, products were being rushed out. You hear bell being bound for products to go. 10 naira in the morning. By the time we are coming in the evening, it's reduced by 50% because of expectations. But do we parade expectation on our leaders today? Well, it's food for us all. Now, let's look at security.
Okay.
Yes, it's neither here nor there, because at a point in time, even Abuja could not sleep with two eyes closed, to show you that the level of incursion that the bandits were recording. But look at the way the number of casualties we are recording. It's almost a daily occurrence today. The home base of Mr. President is even not to be excused in the process. That is why you find it difficult to now say I'm giving a social mark for the current administration with respect to security, because today nobody is secured. We are just here by the grace of Almighty God. So that is that about security. Now talking about economy, then there used to be a place called the economic hub of Lagos, Acme Road, Ikeja. You have all these companies located there. In fact, with your primary 6, you can be assured of a job that will commensurate with the paper you are handling. But today, what have become of all those edifices? I don't want to talk about what we will find there today, but you cannot find the same enterprises that were recorded then, to show you that they are most diving by the day. So economy, I mean, look at the exchange rate of the naira. At a point, the thing rose to 500 naira to $1. $1 that was once 80 kobo.
75 kobo.
So where are we? How do we now say the economy is on the rise? You talk about security.
Yes.
Like I said, nothing to write home about. Economy, we are not there.
Corruption.
Oh, corruption. Well, it's like corruption has won a new toga. Corruption has moved from where it used to be. There used to be open corruption. Today, there's veiled corruption. But the intensity appears to even be more now. Reason being that those who are in charge, they know that if you make noise, you'll be seen. So it's better to corrupt under the table. And corruption under the table appears to be having more telling effect on the polity than it used to be. So all in all, there is a lot more to do, a lot more to be done about this administration. And good enough, we still have a little less than 3 years to go. So we want to see a new deal in all these areas, so that the change promised, because it was on account of change that many of us trooped out, and it's also on account of the integrity factor that we suffered. This is the way to go, but it appears the path has not been very clean, and the hope seems to be getting dashed by the day.
Thank you very much. Before we move forward, let us listen to the last interview granted by MKO Abiola.
It will continue off and on until the military release the result of the June 12 election and put the democratically elected president, who is myself, in charge of affairs. I won't go to war. I won't encourage my supporters to go to war. I will fight for peace, and we will get peace. But see, we do not want the peace of a graveyard, a peace whereby somebody continues to ride on the rest of us with a gun. We will get peace, but we'll get peace with decency and integrity and honesty and probity and democracy.
What is happening at your house? Are you being arrested?
Yes. That was Chief MKO Abiola of blessed memory. Now, I want to go to the prof now. People say the present structure is unsuitable, unsustainable, and counterproductive for national growth, especially in an heterogeneous geographical space like Nigeria. If this is so, sir, do you opt for a restructuring that many people have been clamoring for?
Thank you very much, our moderator. There is no doubt about that, in that we are all experienced when this country was structured along the regional basis with the Western region, Midwest, as well, Northern and Eastern.
On the regional basis.
On the regional basis. This country is highly heterogeneous when it comes to the ethnic structure and even the nationalities. A section would develop faster than the other. Each group cannot, each nationality cannot develop at the same rate, at the same pace. And that is the essence of federalism. True federalism, which is the beauty of the American system. It is not all the states in the US that are prosperous. The prosperous ones support the weak ones. And each state concentrate more on the areas of their strength. For example, the state of Kentucky feeds most part of the country with chicken and turkey. That's the area, and that's, everybody knows them for that. And that's why you see KFC, all these, they're all from Kentucky. And other parts of the country, like for example in Texas State is the state where the oil comes from. And that's where that's the mainstay of the economy in that state. But they pay more into the federation. So this country, we can only be allowed to develop, this country can only develop if each person is allowed to develop, each group is allowed to develop at its own pace. At its own pace. And that's just the way it should be. The country we should decentralize, because we are currently running a unitary government. We are not calling it that, but it's totally unitary, because power is centralized at the federal level. And that's why everybody is struggling tooth and nail to be at the federal. The states and other federal units are at comatose, because they have to go back cap in hand to the federal for survival. And they cannot even exploit the natural resources within their states. It has to be by the federal. It won't work. This was what was happening in Yugoslavia in those days, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, before everything broke down in the early 90s. So everything is founded on deceit, falsehood. And so the country must find ways of decentralizing the governance from the federal to the federating units, whatever the name they call it, because naturally it appears as if we have six regions already, according to what the zonal structure that is already. Each of them can be encouraged to, power can devolve from the center to these 6 geopolitical areas, and whatever the structure it may be. Any group that don't want to go with the other, let them have the freedom of going with the group they want to go with, or with the zone they want to go with, so that each group, each zone be allowed to develop at their own pace, exploit whatever you have within your zone, and contribute to the center, and let the center handle critical things like external affairs, economy, and other policies like that. So we must definitely.
Thank you very much.
Forward to the
Professor Babaniji Babatope.
Thank you very much.
Yes, before we proceed, I want to tell our listeners at home that when it is time for them to contribute to this program, it will be bilingual. When it comes to phoning, we shall open our lines. Let us listen to Anlewu exponent.
Ikú tó pa MKO Abiola bí idán lórí ayé gbá nípa ikú rẹ̀ wọ́n bí wá mọ́rí. MKO Abiola Kashimawo bàbá Kọ́lá gbókìkí rọrùn iná kú pi bàbá aláàánú ọ̀pọ̀ èèyàn ló kú ńṣe ló yẹ kí a ṣèdárò Mọ̀ṣúdì. August 24 lọ́dún 1937 ni wọ́n bí MK Abiola. Ó ní ohun tó dé tí wọ́n fi ń pe bàbá Bùsá ní Kashimawo wà láì ìtàn gidi ni. Olóhun tó dé tí Ọláwálé fi dolórúkọ tí ayé ń fẹ́ kiri. Látọdún 9 tí wọ́n ti bí Abiola ló fi ń tiraka kí òun lè jẹ́ èèyàn. Ìlú Abẹ́òkúta ni wọ́n bí Abiola sí o, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Africa Central School tí ń bẹ nínú Abẹ́òkúta ló ti ka primary school rẹ̀ níjọ́sí. Baptist Boys High School tí ń bẹ nígboro Abẹ́òkúta ló ti ka secondary school rẹ̀ ó jèrè. MKO mami Kudi owó ṣe bẹbẹ kó tó dolórúkọ. MKO Moshood Kashimawo Ọláwálé lamilaka láti lè jẹ́ èèyàn. Ojú tó ti rókun ti rábà omi, ojú tó ti rásà á ti rágbà odò, ojú tó ti rí gẹ̀lẹ̀dẹ́ ti dópin ìran. Ojú Abiola rí tó kí ayé ó tó máa wárí fún. Ojú ọkọ Kudi ọkọ Simbi ti rí tó kí ayé ó tó fi fi súnmọ̀ Mọ̀ṣúdì. Gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà o, ṣé ẹ sì rántí farewell to poverty tí MKO ń ta.
Nigeria on the march again.
On the march again.
Looking for Mr. President.
On the march again.
MKO is our man.
MKO is our man.
Now him go make our country better.
He's the man.
For progress and a better tomorrow.
He's our man.
Make you vote for him, my brother. I say make you vote for him, my sister.
He's our man.
Everybody make una vote for him.
He's the man.
Now him be our only hope.
He's our man.
I say now him be hope for tomorrow.
Yes. Chief MKO Abiola of pleasant memory. Ẹ̀yin ará ilé, àkókò tó láti fún yín láyè kẹ́yin náà dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀. Ọdún 17 rèé nígbà tí ìjọba ológun ìgbà náà tí wọ́n fagilé ètò ìdìbò ààrẹ èyí tí a dì lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí nínú èyí tí olóògbé MKO Abiola ti kópa nígbà náà. Gbogbo ayé ló gbà wípé MKO Abiola ló jáwé olúborí. Ṣùgbọ́n nítorí ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà náà tó jẹ́ pé ìdìbò ọdún 1993 yìí òun ló ṣokùnfà ìjọba tiwantiwa tá a ní lónìí. Àwa pè ọjọ́ òní, àyájọ́ ọjọ́ òní ní ọjọ́ òmìnira ìjọba tiwantiwa. Òun náà là ń pẹ̀kẹ́ lù. Ǹjẹ́ àti ẹ̀ ti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́? Ǹjẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ti kọ́gbọ́n? Ǹjẹ́ apáàsì ni àbá fẹ́ẹ̀lì ni àbá kúrò lójú kan pàápàá nípa ètò òṣèlú? Jẹgúdújẹrá, ìṣọ̀kan orílẹ̀-èdè yìí, ìjọba tó fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀, ìjọba rere, ǹjẹ́ gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyí táwọn aṣáájú tó ti fẹ̀mí wọn lélẹ̀ ǹjẹ́ ó tiẹ̀ ti dúró re lónìí? Ẹ ó bá wa dá sí i. Àwọn ojú òpó tẹ́ máa pè sí 070 374 50890 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0703 745 0890 tàbí 0903 757 8911. Àwọn ojú òpó tí ẹ máa pè sí nìyẹn lórí ìjọba.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, I'm phoning from Ìlú.
Ìlú Ìjẹ̀ṣà.
Yes.
Okay.
To you, yeah.
God bless you.
What I see that no Nigerian people, they are one line to the way I see. Because if you know the policy you have been playing, cook, go and look for ministry. For the after the president, how they are doing policy to this country. They are doing policy without killing. And if this thing is continuing like that, and the issue of the way you are having the money politics, you can't take us anywhere.
Money politics.
Yes. Since you make the policy of this country now, part time, can you imagine that a senator animal than the president of a nation in a particular country? It is a part-time basis and put a salary, and this will be okay. And on the issue of this security, you know it's common in the law. You have their doing back to children. I probably get on that they're doing back to 22 children, Ebola. 22 children. What's the happening later? You know what they're doing at the notice. I look at that now, those men are there sometimes ago. And the man of is getting wise. I calculate for 2 of them, if you remove 5 after 2 children, the government department, I feel the population of that family before has to do. Who will take care of them? And the mother has died now. So the issue of the Netherlands, as well as the people feel like that, they are difficulty that place.
Thank you very much. The last contributor said, this country, if it will progress, it means political office holders, especially in the National Assembly, should be on part-time basis. That is a way to cut down governance and the right people to be in the right position. 0703 745 0890. 0703 745 0890. That's the number. That one doesn't come in. 0903 757 8911. Hello? We lost that one. 0903 757 8911. That's hello?
Hello?
Please move away from your radio set, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Move away from your radio set or turn it down.
Okay. Mr. Wotunde.
From?
We want this country to move forward.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ife.
Ife, okay?
Yes. If you want this country to move forward,
yes.
Anybody that will become our expert will be really not. Whether it's senator, House of Reps, or president, you set a science.
Okay.
As a instead of using Bible and Quran. Yeah. So that there will be fear in our mind. Everybody is right to use this country. So you want to stop this corruption and everything. It's this sort of gender. So that this last one, everybody will be conscious because nobody wants to die. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That contributor from Ife. 0903 757 8911. Yes, as we expect more calls from our listeners at home, they can still go on WhatsApp 07065024793. That is WhatsApp line 07065024793. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Your name and where are you calling from?
Osogbo.
Osogbo. Your name, please.
Silwa.
What's your contribution?
Hello.
Hello. You are on. Oh, we have lost that. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Hello. Hello. You are already with us. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Kamande
from?
Ife. From Ife.
Okay. Go on.
The problem of this country is leadership problem.
Leadership problem.
Yes. If you are going to see the expected Nigeria,
yes,
we citizens must rise up in the coming election to know the know who are we going to catch our vote for?
Okay.
Because all the leaders we have been answering since 1999,
Yes.
they are not ready to address the problem of this country.
They are not ready to address the problem of this country.
Yes.
And what's your advice?
My advice for those for citizens. We citizens must know who are we going to cast our vote for in the coming election. So we don't repeat the mistake again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us have some interlude. Let Akedairo come in.
Ayara Abiola, ẹ ṣe wẹ̀ bá wa tọ́jú Abiola ò bàbá. Ọkọ̀rọ̀ Adébísí olóyè. Yèyé orí adé lè kó ilé. Ọkọ̀ dọ́kítọ̀ Dóyin Sọ́lá máa jayé orí ẹ̀ lọ dàrẹ́tọ̀ ọ̀nkọ́d. Ire ní tiẹ̀. Olóyè rẹpẹtẹ. Olóyè mẹ́rìnlélọ́gọ́jọ. Oyè mẹ́rìnlélọ́gọ́jọ l'Abíọ́lá jẹ ní Nàìjíríà ìwà ni o. Ó ti ṣe fónílé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ti fàlejò. Sábà fẹsọ̀ jayé Abíọ́lá olóyè kiri o. Balógun ọjọ́ bàbá gbúgbà lè bá ilé. Bàṣọ̀run Ìbàdàn nílé olóyọ̀lé.
MKO Abiola, ibi tó o bá wà ilẹ̀ rí. Now let me go to Director General, retired, Wale Edu. Many Nigerians are clamoring for electoral reform. If signed into law and implemented, what impact would that have on the credibility of the nation's electoral process?
Well, for those calling for electoral reforms, the calls are founded because with electoral reforms, we'll be able to have fiscal federalism. With electoral reforms, the monetization of the process will largely be reduced. And with electoral reform, we will have card reader in place. And with card reader, the process again will be more credible. And on top of this, I think those in charge should also consider another process for census and ensuring that every Nigerian has access to national ID card. So all in all, we need this process to be in place, and we use this forum to appeal to Mr. President. The last time the thing was submitted, on 3 occasions, they were turned back to the House. It is high time we did the right thing by bringing electoral reforms into place so that we won't need to be singing the same song all over and all over, having to come back here and still be lamenting the process. We need to move up, forge ahead, and become part of the civilized world whose electoral process have been found to be healthy, and the people are better for it.
Thank you very much. Barrister Boye Williams, inconclusive is a new slogan in Nigeria's electoral process. Would electoral reform address this problem?
I think that is what the National Assembly is trying to do now, to solve that particular problem of inconclusive election. Because a situation, there are some controversial decisions of the Supreme Court now that we lawyers, we don't even know where exactly we are going to pitch our tent. But you know the Supreme Court, it's the highest court of the land. Whatever the Supreme Court says is the law. So they are even law unto themselves there. So it is what they believe that law is. And the moment they pronounce it, that's the final. But we need electoral reform. There are some things we have to do immediately. This issue of electronic voting system should be introduced. When the court is saying that you have a computer room where whatever we vote can be easily discovered, and the court now gives order, bring it, let us see, and you are saying it doesn't exist. It's quite unfortunate. So like what happened in Osun State now, in Osun State when we had the gubernatorial election, inconclusive election, in some other states, inconclusive election, we are saying the number of council votes greater than the number of the register. Well, to me personally, I don't want to say much about that, but I still believe that we can easily reform our electoral system for the purpose of bringing in many things like electronic voting system. Not only that, this issue of registration, I think about 60 million Nigerians are qualified to vote or so, if I'm correct anyway. So why can't we get them simple phone, 60 million phones, whereby wherever you are, you will vote. That phone will be configured to the extent that you cannot use it to phone. It's a device. So when you have it, anytime you want to vote, you will just, they will distribute it to the electorates, and you will use it. Then after using it, you submit it. Then everything, you know, Nigerian leaders, they cannot conduct free and fair election because they have the intention of rigging votes. Let's be sincere. Let's call a spade a spade.
And when will they stop?
They were. You know, that's the reason why what we are celebrating today, our children should understand it. Someone now sent message to my phone, say, Daddy, what happened on June 12th election? So some are still do not understand the essence of what we are doing today. The children. They are just saying that the democracy day. Which democracy day are we talking about? I was trying to send messages to him. He said he was unable to get to the studio phone number. And I said, okay, listen, this is what happened. On June 12th, Nigerians voted irrespective of their religious background. So they voted MK Abiola. Babangida was the president then.
Military president.
So he annulled the election. The meaning of annulment is you said that cancel the election. Then there was crisis. Abiola at Ekpetedo declared himself the president that I was elected.
Yes.
After on returning back from a foreign trip. Then the military junta then now arrested him. Along the line, he died in prison. Sani Abacha died in prison. But the struggle for the actualization of June 12
continued.
The vice president then of Abiola, so
Baba Gana
Kingibe, supposed to resuscitate that mandate, that even if Abiola had died, you must still declare me as the president.
But
He never.
He kept quiet.
He kept quiet because he colluded with the power to be there. So that's what happened. So what we are saying now is that the election that was conducted, free and fair election, that was conducted in 1993 without any problem, we are hoping to have the same. How can we have the same now? Our leaders are selfish. Way out electronic voting.
Do you think, despite if government can uphold electoral reform, that if it is signed into law, implemented, it will not address the problem you are referring to?
It will definitely address. No, even presently, the kind of electoral law we have, it can still address the problems. But the problem we are having, it is one thing to have a document. It is another thing to have people that will execute the same document. The problem we have been facing is problem of execution. They will pass a law today, and before you know it, look at this power sector. Let me quickly go to that, because Wale Dowu, my egbon, was trying to streamline our discussion here. Say, let's pick economy, let's pick this. So, like power sector now, somebody somewhere sold power sector. Gbajabiamila now brought a document, brought the bill to the National Assembly, saying these people must meter all the houses. And these people, ever since that bill entered the National Assembly, they have been frustrating it. The same thing will happen to the electoral bill we are talking about. So after passing it, do you think that let me give you another example now. The National Assembly passed independence bill for autonomy for local government and judiciary. When Buhari now discovered that execution has been difficult, he now say, okay, let us
at the state level.
At the state level, they now came out with executive order 10. Do we need executive order 10 before we implement a certain law that has been in existence? We need to talk to, let's be sincere with our leaders need to be sincere. Forget about all this, what you are doing. Think about what people will say about you. We are saying something positive about MK Abiola. Even though for many years he was never remembered, he was never immortalized. But kudos to Buhari for doing that. But notwithstanding, the electoral system we are talking about, if probably it succeeds, what about the execution? Do we have the synergy?
Thank you very much. You see, a group had just berated Buhari for failure to cut cost of governance with the mounting debts being incurred by government. What's your view about this?
My view will always be controversial concerning the issue of Buhari as a person. Without being immodest, I keep on saying something. I'm not his fan. Because anybody who is 20 years old in 1984.
You are getting old also.
No, whoever is 20 years old in 1984 and realized and saw the damage done by Buhari to the psyche of Nigeria, especially in the education sector, would never dream of having a Buhari as a president. The man is unbendable. When he came to power, I want to go down memory lane. I'm happy for the analysis done by Barrister Boye Williams. In the federal universities then, the feeding is 50 kobo in the morning, 50 kobo in the afternoon, 50 kobo in the evening. I enjoyed this facility. He stopped it. That was when this problem in the university system started. In Lagos, the rail line that the Amechi is running from pillar to post going to China for now. was 70% completed under Jakonde. Buhari cancelled it. And we came back.
Are you sure of the fact?
I'm sure of the fact. Anybody, I'm a journalist of 25 years standing.
Metro line.
And that is what they are trying to run up and down to spend billions now. And they cancelled it. You know, with the money that Jakonde spend there, how much would they want to spend on it then? You see, with what we are saying, Nigeria is for sale now. We are on trial. Okay. The debt profile, let me finish, sir. The debt profile keep mounting. What do we use the money for? We collect money. In fact, we should thank Abacha for giving us gratuity from heaven. Every year now Buhari has been fortunate to take gratuity from his Oga 2 times. $328 million. Where did they go? Nigeria is being run. We are being run falsehood. We said something before we came here. Under this government, somebody said you'll be feeding 3 million school children on holiday. And in Ilesha, I said it. I mean, I live in Ilesha here. Among my people at Ilaje Ile, my shop is at whatever or area, my business. I have not seen a single person brought food to them. I mean, any child being given food.
Maybe it's not yet the turn of.
It's not yet the turn of Ilesha. It's not yet the turn of Ibadan. It's not yet the turn of Abeokuta. We are deceiving ourselves. And over 300 and something million naira going down the drain every day. And you are telling me, what do we do? And we cannot talk because you have already said it. We are being, we are being watched.
Thank you very much.
So, okay.
My Bumi Esquire. Professor Babaniyi Babatokwe, in the area of education, how do you assess the present administration?
It's difficult.
And the way forward?
It's difficult because it's very complex. The problem within the education sector in Nigeria is very bad. Education is not about paying salaries. It's not about.
But we have more universities.
But that's even more problems. That's even part of the problems. Because you get to the university, especially the top-rated ones, the first-generation universities. We know we have the second generation, we have the third generation universities, then we have private universities, then we have state universities, and we have private universities. The first generation university, you just need to visit what is happening in the four walls of these universities. You see, it appears as if many people, even those in government, have no idea. They have no clue as to how these universities are actually being run. They are in their own empire because they are going through terrible situations in terms of funding. The universities are not, the education sector is not adequately funded. A nation that is devoting less than 7% of his budget for education cannot make anything.
And what is the required percentage?
It's about 26 by UNESCO. South Africa, they are spending up to 30-35%. Ghana is spending close to the 26%. We cannot make any headway. We just have to understand this. And the staff, the experts that have been trained, that have gone through, that have had 20, 30, 40, 50 years of experience are in there. And they just look down on everybody as if they are irrelevant. As long as we say the education sector is not relevant, that country cannot develop. That is just a summary of the whole thing.
Thank you very much. In 2 minutes, or 1 minute rather, Mr. Wale Edowu, despite government's efforts through social investment program, this and that, go around the town, go around Nigerian cities, poverty is written boldly on people. Where do we go from here?
Well, what we need to do is to change the paradigm. We need a new paradigm that will address new socio-economic approach. You see, there's this partnership arrangement in project execution, which appears alien to us there. Take example of Ijebu-Jesha Road to Ado-Ekiti, for example. Let government open up, allow private investors to come into it, turn it for 5 years, after then return it to government until we start changing from the old order. I think we'll continue to get the same result in all aspects of our life. That's it.
God bless you. Well, listeners at home, I think this is the point where we have to draw the curtain on this program. I want to thank my guest, Barrister Boye Williams.
Thank you.
Human rights fighter and friend of the media. Bome Oladele Esquire is retired director in the State Ministry of Information. Professor
Thank you for having me, please.
Yes, sir. Professor Babaniyi Babatope from the Obafemi Awolowo University. Mr. Wale Idowu, a former Director General, now retired, Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, OSBC. On behalf, yes, thank you, sir. On behalf of the Chief Executive and Chairman of Teamset Conglomerates, Ijebu-Jesha, Asiwaju Rotimi Obeisun, the station manager, Engineer Segun Obeisun, and my producer, Adekunle Adeyema Eletiko, Ife Oluwa Olaoye on the console. I am Oyebode Oyeleye saying goodbye for now.
Ọdún ìyálóde lẹ́gbẹ́ ilé tọ́jú síbi àtò àyà rẹ̀. Ọkọ̀ kúdírá tù àyàrá bíyọ́lá ẹ ṣeun ẹ bá wa tọ́jú Abíọ́lá ò bàbá.